Hey, Adam.
What's up, Pete?
I smell something.
Did you
No,
gas or something?
I didn't.
No?
No, sir. Wait, I see something. I feel something. There's something in the air. You know what it is?
What?
I think we are about to partake in a You'll Hear It classic.
My favorite kind.
Or as they say in France, classique. Bespoke it. Gross.
I'm Adam Manis.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Classic edition. Exploring music.
A very gross car just drove right down the street during
really
that
did.
intro.
It really did.
Yeah, we're doing a bit of a You'll Hear It classic, Peter. So we've had a lot of people talk about this one course that we have at Open Studio called Jazz Chords for Beginners.
Ever heard of it?
Ever heard of it? It's a very popular course that we made a few years ago. And it's a course that really addresses some of the basics of jazz harmony that we probably take for granted here on the podcast and don't talk about enough. So I thought today we could just go through of what are the basic chords that you kind of need to know to understand everything we're talking about and understand just how to put together some harmony for a song. So that's what we're going to do today is we're going to look at literally from the workbook from Jazz Chords from Beginners from the course, which by the way...
Oh, that's not it. That's an LP.
That's Gilberto.
I still got my tiny LP. Sorry.
No, there will be a PDF here in the description so you can take that stuff with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Caleb, let's bring up the first image, please, from the workbook. Slide number numero uno.
Boom.
So there it is. Here are the basic chords, Peter. And this is how we just grab the...
He thinks I was trying to lift it.
I'll be surprised if that coaster stays, by the way.
And can I just make a note, too, that this is aptly titled Jazz Chords for Beginners, but I think this concept and really this course is probably one of our most applicable to anybody that's just trying to get a handle on like keyboard harmony in general.
Yeah.
It's very, of course it works for jazz, but this kind of is informative and foundational for like a lot of kinds of music.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. This is just the basics of like seventh chords and extensions. So if you're looking at the sheet here, you can see whether that you've downloaded that in the description or you're watching on YouTube. We have these, what do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different chords here. We've got the major seventh chord, the minor seventh chord, the dominant seventh chord, the diminished seventh chord, the minor major seventh / major sixth chord, and the half diminished seventh chord, also known as the minor 7 flat 5.
Why is the minor major 7? Oh, question, sir.
Yes,
Teacher.
sir. Yes.
Can you call on me?
Yes, Peter.
Yeah. Minor major 7th and minor 6. Why are those, or am I getting ahead of myself?
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yes, we have them in the same category. They are technically different chords, but they're kind of interchangeable depending on a couple of circumstances. So let's start with the major 7th. The basic major 7th chord is built here in the key of C. We've got the root, we've got the 3 and the 5, 7, as Peter is so diligently demonstrating here. That's C, E, G, and B. Play it one more time, Peter. That's that major 7. Now play it as a block. Now, on the next measure here, we have what we call the upper extension. So there we have the root 3, 5, 7, and if we add the 9, the 11, and the 13...
Gross.
The D, the F, and the A, play those all together. Now that is every single note of the C major scale. Did you know that?
Make it stop.
I know. Well, the tension between the E and the F is palpable. And so that's why a lot of times when you're playing an 11th on a major 7, when you're getting up to those extensions, you'll do a sharp 11.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little bit more palatable with that.
Yeah, because that's really, like so that's with the F. If I take just the F away, that's acceptable.
It's a beautiful major 13 chord, yeah. So a lot of times when you see like a C major 13, you won't have an 11 in the chord. If you do, it'll almost always be a sharp 11. You almost never see a major chord with that natural 11, although it does happen.
You know what one I love is the C711, because I like to jump in and get a big gulp.
Bam. Only 47 cents after the Cardinals hit 6 home runs. Okay, so the next
that won't happen this year.
No. The next chord is the minor 7th chord. And for this, we've got a D minor 7, which is the 2nd degree of C major. We've got the root. We've got the minor 3rd, F natural, the perfect 5th, A, and the minor 7th, C. Play those all in a block, please, Peter. That is a beautiful chord. Inner City Blues. So what? You've heard it a billion times. A gorgeous. chord. Now, the three upper extensions, the 9th and the 11th and the 13th, actually sound beautiful. Sounds a lot like Bill Evans, Peter, with that 13 in there. Yep. And that's just straight stacking again. So from the bottom up, Peter, we've got D, F, A, C, E, G, and B.
Right, and we don't have like you might say, well, why isn't it clashing as much between like the 3rd and the 9th? It should, but that's kind of it just sort of works.
Something works really well with that one specifically.
The way it's inlaid.
Next up, we've got the dominant 7th chord. For this, we're going to use the 5th degree of C, the G7. We've got the root G, the 3rd B, the perfect 5th D, and the minor 7th F natural.
Is it minor or dominant 7th?
Minor 7th.
Okay.
Minor 7th, technically from the root up, that is a minor 7th.
Okay.
But yes, you call it a dominant 7th because it's the dominant 7th chord. It's got a major 3rd and a minor 7th.
You love putting your ma together with a dog, don't you? Dogma.
100%. The extensions, the natural extensions on this are all very beautiful. You've got the 9, the 11. So the 9 is A, the 11 is C, and the 13 is E. And again, just like the major chord, because of that major 3rd, you almost never hear the natural 11 played with this. You would hear the 9 and the 13 quite a bit, which we'll get into some voicing options for those in a little bit.
Yeah.
We also have here, Peter, on this sheet, the altered extensions for a dominant chord.
Sorry, I
because
jumped the gun on those.
these are incredibly useful, played all the time. The flat 9, you could also do sharp 9, by the way. The flat 9, the sharp 11, and the flat 13. Gross.
Well, this works, but you have to change that. Like, it doesn't work with root position.
Stacking them is not great.
Yeah, gross.
Next up is the diminished 7th. For this, we're going to start on C sharp. So we have C sharp, and then in minor 3rds up, E, G, and B flat. That is the C sharp diminished 7th chord. Learn it, live it, love it. It's a beautiful stack of minor 3rds. Now, Peter,
Scary.
The extensions on a diminished 7th are key.
Are they though?
They are key. It's basically stacked on top of this, a D diminished 7th chord, D, F natural, A flat, and B.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry. That's my bad. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh,
I said the exact wrong diminished chord. So we got our C sharp diminished on top of that. Scratch everything I just said.
Okay.
It's D sharp.
Yep.
F sharp. Thank you. A and B sharp. Whew. There it is. Double diminished right there.
So we're coming off, and even down here it works. So this is and for those of you that aren't watching here, don't feel like, I mean, you are missing out a little, but also great chance to really develop your ears with this because we're getting into some more, like on the other ones, like that should lead your ear up to that root when you're stacking those up. But here, like this is the same, this all minor 3rds. It's all fully diminished, but we've got that. I mean, I know it's built off of like the roots aren't the 9th, but I think that perfect 4th in the middle is what sets this one off, right? So you got doom, 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 doom. That's a hard one to hear. And then you go up with the minor 3rds.
Beautiful.
Herbie Hancock's calling. He wants all his chords voicings
back. The double diminished is beautiful. And by the way, all of
Igor
those...
Stravinsky called as well.
All of those notes for the extensions, they make up the C sharp diminished chord. Those two diminished chords make up the C sharp diminished scale.
Whole half.
Whole half. Actually, there's just one diminished scale, and it is whole half.
Your dog and your mom
I'm dogmaing
and you got a Dorito stuck on your shoulder.
Thank you. Next up is the minor major 7th and the minor 6th. So this is something that you might use for a minor tonic or maybe a minor 4 chord. Here we've got a C minor major 7. That's a C minor triad with a major 7. C, E flat, G, and B natural.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful sound that you would probably use with something like either a melodic minor ascending or a harmonic minor. Totally. You could use it as a tonic chord. But the most common minor tonic chord is the C minor 6 chord.
Yeah.
You could also do a C minor 6/9. That's C minor triad, C, E flat, and G with an A natural, not an A flat, an A natural. Again, thinking about the melodic minor ascending as the basis for that. The extensions for that are the natural 9, D, the natural 13, F, and of course that 13A would be way up there. But the 13 is only applicable when there is a 7th involved.
Right.
So a common version of this is the 6/9 voicing, where you have C, E flat, A, D, and G. We'll get into that a little bit later, but it is a common way to do a minor tonic. So if you're playing like Softly as in a Morning Sunrise, a C minor 6 should be your go-to. Or like Alone Together, the C minor 6 is the tonic.
Yeah. And I think too, some people might be like, wow, that's weird. Why is that more of a tonic sound? Why is that sound more settled than with the minor 7th? Because that's leading somewhere like this. Because you might think, oh, that's kind of, but because it doesn't just lead up, it also leads down as have it to the minor 6.
But you should know the minor.
It feels like you can rest there.
The minor 6 is more common as the tonic than the minor major 7.
Right, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
But
I would say they're both. I mean, I know
they're interchangeable too.
but we use the minor 7 a lot. But that's not really like a tonic-y kind of chord in most situations.
Not usually.
Yeah, because that wants to lead down to the minor, to the regular 6 as well.
Right. That's right. It can be, but most often not.
Right.
Our final chord is the half diminished 7th, also known as the minor 7 flat 5. This would be the 2 chord in a minor 2-5-1. So here we have a D half diminished 7, D, F, A flat, the flat 5, and then C, the minor 7th. A beautiful chord. Now, typically this is derived from the Locrian. So the natural minor 7 flat 5 in the key of C is the B minor 7 flat 5, the B half diminished. So if we go back to our D, we've got D, F, A flat, and C. That is the D half diminished 7th. The extensions are E flat, G, and B flat.
It's like an E flat triad on top of that bad boy.
Well, this is derived from the key of E flat. This is the 7th degree of the key of E flat.
Right.
So this is that E flat harmony. Caleb, next slide, please. Those are our basic chords. All of them are used in most of the tunes that we play. Here are some very simple rooted 2-note voicings. These are the very basic versions, the root shell pretty voicings that you might use. Peter, I got this section if you don't mind. For the major 7th, we've got this beautiful root shell pretty voicing. What do we mean by root shell pretty? We mean the root is on the bottom, and then we've got the shell, the 3rd and the 7th. Or the 7th and the 3rd. Then we've got a couple of pretty notes. In this case, we've got the 9D and the 5G. Again, C, E, B, D, and G. This beautiful G major triad.
C major triad. G major triad, right.
Yeah.
But it's like the 5th. A lot of times I don't think about as being a pretty note.
It is a pretty note.
It is because of the way it's spaced out there with that triad.
Totally. If it were down here, not as pretty. Gross.
Not quite gross, but yeah.
Next up is the minor 7th, exact same formula. Root 3, 7, 9, 5. This is a beautiful voicing. You got to have this one. Again, root shell pretty. You got the root and the shell, the 3rd and the 7th, and then the pretty notes, the 9 and the 5. The dominant 7th voicing, the natural dominant, the G13. You've got the root and the shell, the 7th and the 3rd, F and B. We're a little bit more spread out now. And you got the 13, the 9, E, and A.
And what you have happening there that I think makes that voicing so strong and works so well, you've got on the outside, right, the root and the 9th or the 2nd.
Totally.
And then you've got that classic McCoy Tyner, Barry Hare, everybody, 4th voicing with the tritone and the perfect 4th, the 7th, the 3rd, which is the shell, of course, with the 13th. What do you call that voicing? We played a lot, right? 4th voicing?
Yeah.
But it's not 2 perfect 4ths. It's a tritone and a 4th.
It's got to have a name. I don't know, though.
That chord.
That chord. It's a that chord. The altered dominant version of this G13, you simply flat the top 2 notes. So E and A become E flat and A flat. So you've got G, F, B, the 3rd, flat 13, the flat 9. Also a go-to voicing. For our diminished 7th chord, we are going to use an open voicing of the diminished 7th. So C sharp, we're going to put the 3rd E up an octave. So we got a nice 10th there, minor 10th. We've got G and B flat below that. And then we're going to put one note, Peter, from that other diminished chord. We're going to put an A natural.
Yeah.
So there's just one note. Remember we talked about how there's that D sharp diminished.
Yeah.
That you can put on top as the extensions. Just adding one note of the extensions can go a long, long way. So again, there's C sharp, G, B flat, E. All of those notes are C sharp diminished. And then one note from the extensions, A. Goes a long, long way.
it's all within the whole half diminished.
Exactly. Now our minor 6 chord, our C minor 6 chord, we got the root and the shell. This case, the shell is the 3rd and the 6th. And we're going to add that 9 and that 5.
And look at what you got in the middle there, big guy.
That perfect 4th that Peter loves so much. That chord. Oh, that whole chord is right there. That's right.
Yep.
And finally, our half diminished 7th, very simple chord here. It's, the bebop musicians call the half diminished. They wouldn't call this D minor 7 flat 5. They would literally call this F minor over D. And that's what we have here.
Yeah.
D on the bottom, and then just an F minor triad. A flat, C, and F.
Yep.
Perfect.
But that comes back from that whole thing of like, if you're 2-5 wanting to C major or C minor, 4, 5, 1.
Exactly.
4.
It's like the 4
D.
chord. Yeah, over the D. Caleb, next slide, please. Those are our rooted 5-note voicings. How about our rootless 4-note voicings, Peter? How about these? We got a major 7 here. There's no roots on any of these voicings. We've got the shell, the 3rd and the 7th, and then 2 pretty notes. We basically just taken the root out of the equation.
Yep.
The 9 and the 5.
The root has been canceled.
Each one of these has an A voicing, where the 3rd is on the bottom, and a B voicing, where the 7th is on the bottom. Like this C major 13, we've got the 7th B, the 3rd E, the 13 A, and the 9 D.
Yep. And there's a lot of ways to think about, and more importantly, to hear these. But we're rootless, but we still have the shell is in the left hand. 1 is just with the 3rd, shell being the 3rd and the 7th in this case. 3rd on the bottom or the 7th on the bottom.
Can you play a C bass note for me?
Yes.
There's our A voicing. Play it against us. There's our B voicing. One's just a little bit higher range, one's a little lower range. We have the same thing for the minor 7th. Here's the 3rd on the bottom. 3, 7, 9, 5, F, C, E, A. Here's with the 7th on the bottom. C, F, A, E. Beautiful 4-note voicings here. Yeah, you can move them around. They're just gorgeous. Here's the same thing for the dominant 7th chord. The 7th and the 3rd, the 13th and the 9. I mean, this is just like our rooted voicing, but without the root. And here's our B voicing. The 3rd, the 7th, the 9, and the 13. B, F.
Very Debussy-esque.
And then we can do these with the flatted 13 and 9.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous. I mean, they never miss these 4-note rootless.
Beautiful symmetry in there, too.
The diminished voicings, we're just using notes of the diminished chord. E, B flat, C sharp, and G. That's for our C sharp diminished. And then the B voicing. Next inversion there. Our C minor 6 voicing, we've got the 3rd on the bottom. 3, 6, 9, 5. E flat, A natural, D natural, and C. And then our B voicing has the 6 on the bottom. There's that chord again. A, E flat, G, and D. Now, for our half diminished voicing, we talked about half diminished voicings a little bit last week. I might have updated this since our remember the speak pipe we got about them?
Yeah.
But I like this. It's basically like an F minor 6 chord.
Yeah.
F, C, D, and A flat.
Yep, I like it.
Same thing here. C, F, A flat, and D.
Yep.
So those are our rootless.
It's almost like a drop 2 from an F minor 6, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those are our rootless 4-note. Very good, Peter. The drop 2. Look at this.
Well, I was just guessing. I was see if I could slip it by you there. I didn't know I was actually right.
Those are our rootless 4-note voicings. And again, kind of the best part about those is that A, B voicings. You got 2 choices where you get these different inversions.
Right.
Caleb, can we see the next slide, please? Lastly, here's our third. So we've got 3 different voicing structure: rooted 5-note, rootless 4-note, and finally rootless left hand. These are going to be perfect for when you're playing in a trio and you go in a solo with your right hand. We're just going to do some stacking of thirds here for this, Peter. We've got E, G, B, and D.
Yep. So you're getting into 1 upper extension because you're shifting up off of the root to the 3rd
That's right.
at the bottom.
So this is our C major 9, right? We got the 3rd, the 5th, the 7, and the 9.
Yep.
Don't sleep on this voicing. I know it's basic, but it sounds great.
Yeah.
And then the B voicing.
And I mean, these are just like by not sleeping, I think what you mean is learn these in all keys.
Oh, yeah.
And also don't sleep on it in terms of like, yeah, if you're always, yeah, but of course you don't want to overdo it. But what about a little of this? Like where you're just changing
around.
1 little note in the middle.
It starts with these basic shapes, but these are just the jumping off point. And by the way, in the course, Jazz for Piano for Beginners, we take all 3 of these structures through all 12 keys. Okay, so the B voicing is the same thing, but with B on the bottom, B, D, E, and G.
Nice.
Same thing for the minor 7th, right? We got the 3rd on the bottom here, 3, 5, 7, 9 of D minor.
Yeah.
F, A, C, and E. And then here's the 7th on the bottom. And that's what it sounds like. I mean, simple, but beautiful. Our dominant 7th, that's the classic one, right? 7, 9,
it's that
3.
chord plus the 9th.
Totally. 13. So that's F. Here's a G on the bottom in the bass.
Yep.
Yeah. And then check this out for our inversion. This real crunchy B, E, F, and A up here. And then, of course, we have our flat 13, flat 9 versions, which is also, by the way, Peter, if you look at that, that is an A flat minor 6 shape. That's for our Barry Harris fans out there, tritones minor.
You can take any of those inversions of that over the G, right?
That's right. Our diminished 7,
too.
we're just going to do, no, not drop 2. We're just going to do a stack of minor thirds, E, G, B flat, and C sharp, and then different inversion, B flat, C sharp, E. The minor 6, another that chord with that.
Plus the 5th
Plus the
in this
5th.
case, which is weird because the 5th usually pulls away from.
That's right.
But this one works.
E flat, G, A, and D. Isn't that beautiful? And then A for the B voicing, A, D, E flat, and G. Again, with the C on the bottom.
But you know what that C minor is? Yeah.
Crunchy.
It's really the same shape as the dominant 7th A.
Yep.
You know
exactly. Exactly the same. For our half diminished 7th voicing, our D minor 7 flat 5, we've got simple F minor 6 shapes.
Yep.
F, A flat, C, and D. Again, don't sleep on these. I use these all the time.
For melodic shapes.
Well,
And close to my mic? Okay.
Well, for comping shapes. I mean, this basic voicing, even though this is just a stack of what the chord is, it is it's the go-to.
Yeah.
It's the go-to. And then the B voicing has the 7th on the bottom.
You can get away with, not only get away with, but utilize these basic, what appeared to be root position, if this was an F minor 6, to just be root position and be like, but because we're placing it, it's as a rootless voicing on top of something else. Because the same thing could be used over like a G.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't you, but you're my brother. That's the chord from that.
What?
You don't know me because I'm your brother. Michael McDonald, man, come on.
Can you turn Peter's
Taking
microphone
it
off,
to
please?
the streets.
Thank you. And
That's
then let's hit the next slide, please. That is that. That is that.
The next slide, how many slides we got?
Okay,
Damn.
This is it. This is our final slide. So these are some 2-5-1s using everything we've just learned. We've got our 5-note rooted voicings, we've got our 4-note rootless voicings, and we've got our rootless left-hand voicings. We have major 2-5s and minor 2-5s. Again,
Hells yeah.
You can download the PDF in the description of the YouTube video here.
And you know what? Actually, we're going to do a special where you can get this whole course lifetime. We don't do that very often around it. We're doing it. I'm authorizing it.
Okay, so we're gonna offer the whole course of jazz piano,
there'll
jazz
be a
chords
link,
for beginners.
Jazz chords for beginners, because a lot of folks are like, I don't know if I'm ready for membership. I don't know if my membership, if I lose my job and I lose my membership, I still want to have something. So we're gonna go lifetime access on just this course, because I think that'll really be valuable for
Amazing.
folks. Yeah.
Well, let's hear how these voicings work in action. So here is our 5-note rooted major 2-5-1. Peter, you got it.
Okay.
D minor 9, G13. I mean, what else do you need?
Yeah.
That sounds great.
And you can see this visually, and if you're on the pod, that's okay. Just go check out the YouTube or download the PDF or get lifetime access to the course. Part of the thing is like, why does this work? Like we're spreading out, right? But we're staying the same on top. Little things like that are fun when you feel them in your hands, right?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What about the 5-note rooted minor?
Oh, that one's
2-5-1?
gross. But the first one's good.
D minor 7 flat 5, D minor half diminished. G7 flat 9 flat 13. C minor 6. You don't need any more than that.
No.
That's incredible voice leading.
And that's got that chord in the middle with the 5th and the root on the bottom.
All right, how about the 4-note rootless major 2-5? I'll do the roots.
Okay, 1,
2, 3, 4. Let's do the B voicings.
Wow.
Oh boy. How about the minor rootless, the 4-note rootless?
The lady hold her head, taking it to the street.
And how about the B voicings for the minor? Are you going to sing through the whole thing? How about the rootless left hand major voicings?
This is probably the most important rootless left-handed voicing you could learn. It's not necessarily the hippest.
Do it again. Do it again.
3, 5, 7, 9. That chord with the ninth, and then 3, 5, 7, 9.
Totally. How about the B voicings?
Yeah. Those are hipper, but the other ones, the A, are more foundational, you know? More fundamental to what you need to learn. Don't you think?
I think so. I think you're right on that. How about the left hand minor voicings? Minor 2, 5, 1. And the B voicings? The B voicings? And that's Jazz Chords for Beginners.
Ha! That was fun.
Yeah, check the description for the PDF and also the offer for lifetime access to Jazz Chords for Beginners course. Like I said, it is one of our more popular courses. It always in our course rankings is in the top 3.
Yeah, it's a good
always,
one.
and it's been around for a minute.
It's a good one. And you're going to need these for life, so there you go.
Yeah. Till next time.
You'll hear it.
Hey, those are the same voicings. You'll hear it classico.
Classique. Classique.